All right, well, welcome, sisters, to the, I guess, first, or maybe it's the second installment of our monthly stake women's conferences. Is that what we're calling it? Sister Yates says yes. Okay, I've got the right title. Letting a few more people in. Okay, first, we'll just start with a quick round of introductions. We are the Relief Society Presidency from 3rd Ward. I'm Karen Williams, and I'm the president. We have Heidi Bench, our first counselor, and Carol Bedke, second counselor, and Sara Jones is our secretary. So we're excited to be with you and visit with you, and we're going to do a little reminiscing today. So I wanted to first explain how the flow of this session will go. Want to talk a little bit about why we're talking about writing our personal history. And then we are going to give you 2 prompts. So if you remember, you should have received a notebook from your Ward Relief Society presidency. If you didn't, talk to them and they can give it to you. They have them available. And these notebooks are for you to write your personal history. And each month, a different ward will take a turn giving you a prompt for you to inspire you to write something of your history. So we're just going to give you 2 today, and we're going to try and keep this whole broadcast short and sweet. So first, we want to talk about why are we talking about writing a personal history? And I'm going to share a quote with you here. There it is. Okay. Okay, it says external facts about life can be researched. I got things in the way on my screen. Can be researched generations later, but the inner life is irrevocably lost unless written during one's lifetime. So I found that quite a lot when I look on Family Search. I get really interested in my ancestors. And then when I want to dig deeper into their lives, I also get very disappointed when there are no stories about them. I want to know, well, what was life like in Ireland in 1830 or whatever it is, whoever I'm looking at. I really would love to know more about their lives. And the only way that future generations can know that about us is if we write it ourselves. That's the only way they can know, like this says, about our inner life. And so I believe our stake for Relief Society presidency has been inspired greatly to help us, encourage us to use some time we have this year and write our own personal histories. So first, I'm going to show you our first prompt, and I'll give you some time to write it down. We decided this month that we would focus on everything on high school graduation, because a lot of us are thinking about high school graduation this time of year. We have kids graduating, we have friends and neighbors graduating. So we're going to reminisce about high school graduation. So I will show you our first prompt here. Okay, so right now take a moment and write down this prompt. What are some memories from your high school graduation? Okay, you've probably had enough time to write that down and maybe start, triggering your brain to think about that. We were talking at first, well, we can't remember anything about our high school graduation, but for me, as I started, one memory led to another. So we are going to share some embarrassing pictures. I think no one's more embarrassed than me because I graduated in the early 90s with big bangs and fluffy hair was a big thing. So just prepare yourselves for this picture. Okay, there we go. So there's my graduation announcement and my senior picture that was taken at the school. I have so many memories. Like I said, they've kind of flooded back. And funny enough, Heidi and I actually graduated together in the same class. A couple things. I remember I was conducting the baccalaureate, which we used to have, and was very nervous. I remember because that was, yeah, because I messed up. And then another memory, I just kind of a memory, kind of a thought about graduation. I've heard people say, why do we make such a big deal about high school graduation? It's not that big of a thing to graduate from high school. Anyone can do it. But I think it's really a rite of passage for people. It's when kids, well, a lot of kids are getting ready to leave home and go on missions now, go to school, or just go out and start learning what their own life is going to be about. And so I think it is a big deal. And I think it's fun that we make a big deal about it for these kids and something to remember. And I think our community did a great job of doing that for us. We had lots of celebrations from our ward to school to just the own things, you know, that we did as a class. Our class was a pretty close class, a small class, and not really cliquey. I didn't think we all got along pretty well, and we had lots of fun the last couple of weeks, just doing lots of random things. And then the thing to me that I remember about graduation night is that this was before okay, let me go back to those pictures now. Well, there should have been mine that got skipped. Yours is good. Okay, there's our class singing at the graduation. And now here we get Heidi. There.
Take care. Yeah. We really did have a really good class. We did a lot of things together. And I remember we had a senior skip day. Karen and I were talking about this earlier, and we'd all gone up to Spring Creek and hung out. And then the boys all decided to stay the night, and the girls were going to come up the next morning and bring them breakfast. And then we were going to skip. But a lot of the kids were like, oh, I think we're going to go back to class. So I, as a rebellious child with my now husband and one of his friends, we skipped the whole day. And I got in really big trouble from a teacher, but we
all got in trouble. I would say
we were just in a little more trouble, but
yes.
We spent the whole day, and we'd like tubed down the canal, and then it was the 4th grade class was doing their Cottonwood Caves tour that day. And one of the guys that was with us, his dad was our 4th grade teacher, so he knew where they were going to be at what time. So we went and hid in the cave to scare the 4th graders when they came. And there was this old ladder, and you could get up where I can't remember who it was that hid out there. I can't remember who it was. But we went up in the cave, and we got up into this little hole and scared the 4th graders when they came out. And then we did fun stuff together all the time, our whole class. And we had this tradition for Oakley to do a senior play, and we had a senior play that was fun. And like graduation day, I just remember being so relieved that we were done, that we didn't have any more homework, no more, like we could just move on with our lives. And I was engaged the week after graduation, and don't do it, kids. We just had a really fun class, and I liked spending time with everyone, and all the fun things that we got to do together. And our community, we'd have homecoming, we would have a parade down the middle of town, and we had an old couch that somehow got brought from the dump that was we took everywhere for some reason. It was at a movie night, and then it was on our float, and we had a goat that had football pads on, and we just did fun, crazy stuff together as a class, and just great memories. And
all right, I'll show another picture from this is our volleyball team, our senior year. So both Heidi and I are in this one. There we are. So there I am. I'm number 17, and Heidi is that
27.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And We were awesome.
Yes. And see all that big fluffy hair? I wasn't the only one. All right, now we're going to turn to Carol to tell us about some of her high school graduation experiences.
You guys think you are having trouble remembering. It's been 58 years for me. I can't remember much, except I remember I had a navy blue skirt and a little white jacket with blue trim, 3/4 length sleeves, and kind of some floral trim that I wore to graduation. I remember we had a senior banquet the week before. I don't remember that we had a senior trip or that we sloughed, but then I was the perfect child. My husband is the one who was the ringleader of the troublemakers. And those of you that know Robert know that to be true.
We need to hold this.
Oh,
I just showed this picture, but I didn't realize it was the homecoming queen that I was showing.
thank you. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a lot of memories because it was a long time ago. Back in the year 1902, I think.
Almost done.
Yes.
All right, so we'll go to Sarah now. Let me get a picture of her in those days.
And I thought I would have the most memories, right? I'm the youngest one here. I got nothing. I was like, of my actual graduation day, I think I have one good memory, or one memory, I guess, that accounts. So I graduated from Grantsville High School in Utah in 2005. I'm kind of jealous of these guys' stories because we were like a class of 200, so there was no like skip days. We did go to Lagoon for a senior trip, and we did like, I don't know, but we didn't have that like close knit. You had your group of people, I guess, that you did, but it was, I don't know, they kind of sounded fun. We didn't do any senior play for sure with 200 people, but I was kind of thinking back to my graduation, and I just remember I sat on the very front row next to the stage on the far right side, and that is about all I remember as far as like walking across the stage part. And then of course we threw our hats in the air at the end out on the grass of the school, and then you took pictures with everyone that you knew. I felt like every friend you had, every family member. But this one lady came up to me and I could not believe it. It was my 5th grade teacher, and her name was Mrs. Bradfield, and she handed me a picture of myself at age when I was in 5th grade, and she had this cool poem. But we were her very first class, and I always remember her. She was a great teacher, but I couldn't believe that she came and handed one out to every single student that she taught that year. I don't know if she did that forever, if it was just because we were special, because we were her first year, but I was like, oh, that's very nice of her. And then what else as far as graduation night? We always had the run of the mill. We did our dinner with family and friends, and I had chicken enchiladas. I remember that because I'm and then we had a bonfire with lots of friends after, and that's about the extent of my graduation. But yeah, I don't know. Here on the way here, I had to bring my daughter with me, and I had this picture, when they take your fancy graduation pictures, and she asked me, she's like, Mom, are you wearing the same shirt? And I was like, yep, I'm wearing the same shirt. Not quite, but And then I asked her, I'm like, do I look the same? She's like, no, not at all. So there's my awesome graduation. Well, and I was like, nowadays they do the fun, fancy ones. Now I feel like we just got the ones you went to the school and got the sweet pictures taken. So that's my graduation that I remember. Oh, here's my sweet diploma. Seems so small.
Such a big
I know. I
accomplishment.
just feel like I should roll it up and try it. But yeah, that's my school stories.
I should probably clarify that I was not at a drinking party.
Because you were not at the same party.
No, my husband now and a different friend went behind the dam. We were just gonna have a fire and cook hot dogs. And a cop actually followed us because he thought we were the drinking party. And we told him, no, that party went the other direction. So he's like, okay, be safe, guys.
Yeah,
So
we just kind of went we had all that fun a couple weeks before, and then we graduated and just kind of went separate ways. Kind of funny. I just have to show this picture. It's funny. This is our yearbook, our senior yearbook. And Heidi was giving hers out. Here we are, just how funny our lives turn and change, and then we come back together. We're right there together, right next to each other, because our maiden names were both M's. And then there's a note from Spencer Bedke, who happens to be Carol's son. So we're kind of all intertwined. Sarah, I don't think we have a connection to you. Yeah, sorry. But I did notice that we're wearing, it looks like the same drapes that Carol was wearing in her senior picture. So some things have changed too much over the years. All right, I think we're ready for prompt number 2 of the night. So also related to graduation, I don't think I'm alone in saying that my life has changed greatly over the years. I've learned all sorts of valuable lessons that would have been really helpful if I knew them when I was 18 and just ready to leave, late to fly the coop. But unfortunately, we didn't have the advantage of that foresight. So here's your prompt, your next prompt. Let me get it on the screen. Okay, I'll read it and give you some time again. With the advantage of the life experience you have now, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? Please had time to write that down and start thinking. This is a little deeper thinking one than just recalling memories for me. I've had lots of thoughts about what would I tell myself, and I realized in the more recent years, I was so quiet, shy, reserved, inhibited. I just was so busy comparing myself to other people, and I didn't quite spread my wings in the way I could have for a lot of years. I think it's only been maybe in the past decade that I've kind of grown into my own skin. It took a lot of years for me to be, a little more confident in who I am. And that's the advice I would give to myself, is don't worry about those things. Don't worry about what you think other people are thinking about you. Don't be so inhibited. Just go out and live your life and enjoy it, and kind of follow your heart, but don't be so inhibited. So that's the advice I'd give myself. All right, Heidi.
the advice I'd probably give myself, and it probably would have been earlier than 18, is don't study date. Don't have a steady boyfriend, or just have fun with everyone and big groups, and not that I regret my being married at 18, but I think just having more life experiences with friends, and because I would single myself off with one certain person, and that was the end all be all of life, is to have somebody. And I think just having more fun with lots of groups of people and getting to know lots of people. I was already engaged when I went to college, so I didn't have necessarily college roommate fun and meeting lots of people because I was already engaged. So I think I probably would say just don't steady date and just have lots of fun. And don't worry about what other people think.
Yes.
I think that's a given.
All right, Carol.
I think I'm gonna go along with what you and Heidi have said. I was so worried about what everybody thought about me, that I was not kind and reaching out to others. I don't think I had a lot of confidence back then. I'm kind of like you, Karen. I think I'm a light bloomer. I felt more comfortable in my own skin probably in the last 20 years than any time before that. And I owe an apology to my darling mother. I was her only daughter. I was spoiled, lazy, mouthy, and boy, can I hardly wait to apologize to her. So I wish I also would have been kinder to my mother. And I was horrid to my younger brothers. And I have apologized to them about how mean I was to them. I thought they were horrible. I've learned since that that's just the male species. So, yeah, and yeah, just reach out to others more, kinder to other people.
Advice. All right, Sarah.
Okay, well, I guess it's kind of the same. Mine would be, don't be afraid to do the hard things. So have the confidence to be able to do those hard things. And if you fail, it would probably be okay. Like, do the hard things, even if you're scared to, even if, the possibility of succeeding, even if you fail at it, then you learn and you can keep going. So don't be afraid to do the hard things and push forward. And if they fail, just try again. That's fine.
All right, well, that wraps up our presentation for the day. Hopefully you've been able to start, your wheels turning and had some fun remembering about your own high school graduation time and your life since then and what advice you give yourself. Just a quick reminder that you'll receive a prompt each month from a different ward. And so just keep your notebook handy or whatever you want to prepare your notes in your history. And then just close with a testimony that I know that our Stake Relief Society has been inspired to guide us down this path of preparing our own family histories. And as I've thought through it, I know one of the truths I know is that we are beloved daughters of our Heavenly Father and of Jesus Christ. And as we prepare our own histories and reflect on our lives, I believe that will help us to see God's hand in directing our life and help us feel that love and help us then have a desire to share that with others. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.